Okay. Well, yeah, thank you everyone for joining us tonight as we talk about navigating the research realm. So this is in partnership. Amber and I are with Estrela, and we're in partnership with Polygence and Lumiere to learn more about their programs as well. So Amber and I will give an overview of some research information, and then we will have our presenters talk about each of their programs. So I'll have Amber introduce herself, and then I will introduce myself.
Hey, well, hi, everybody. I'm Amber Gilsdorf. I'm the Director of College Planning for Estrela Consulting. And that's just a really fancy way of saying I've been with Estrela for 6 years now. And when we expanded and hired Jamie and one of our other colleagues, Allison, I've had the sincere honor of getting to support them, mentor them, train them. They already had so much knowledge, but being able to support them through their first cycle with Estrela. So that's me.
And I'm Jamie Kirby. I'm a college planning consultant with Estrela. I've been with Estrela since April, so we're almost coming up on one whole year. And before that, I was a high school counselor for about 15 years. So I've been around the college planning world for a long time and just made that shift into the individual counseling world. So I'm going to have Amber kick. Oh, sorry, I'm going to go through our agenda first. So tonight we're going to talk about the value of research for high school students, and then we'll talk about different types of research opportunities. And then I'll hand it over to our panelists from Polygence and Lumiere, and then we'll open it up at the end for questions and answers, and those questions and answers could go to any of us. So either Amber and I, or Maureen or Saadia, whoever you would like to ask.
Yep.
And
And
now I'll hand it over to Amber.
thanks, Jamie. Well, and to add on the Q&A part, you can put your questions in the Q&A and we'll be able to see them when we get to that part later. All right. So as Jamie said, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the value of research. And this is something that is absolutely growing in popularity among high school students, especially our intellectually curious ones. So the value of it is in the opportunity to go in depth into a field or a topic that fascinates a student that maybe they don't have, the class at their school, or it's a specific section of or a unit of a particular subject. This on an application showcases intellectual curiosity, personal drive, integrity, initiative. The list could go on and on. And as a bonus, students will find that supplemental essays, which are these extra offshoot essays aside from the main personal statement that students write for their college applications, those supplemental essays often have questions like, why do you want to study this major? Why this field of study? Or elaborate on an extracurricular. Or I've even seen ones, tell us about something you did last summer. So when they have these opportunities in their application and they have a research experience, this is an excellent chance to really showcase the knowledge that they've gained from these experiences. The other piece that's very valuable is the connections that these students can start building already. If you're an adult on this webinar, you've learned the value of connections with other professionals and people who are in fields that are adjacent to or in alignment with our own. So making those connections and building those trusted relationships with other professionals can go a long way to help in the future. Could lead to a future internship when they're in college. And in a more immediate, sometimes these people that they do their research under, some kind of research mentor, could be recommenders in this section on the college application that allows for other. So that is one benefit. And then the other benefits could be just opportunities to job shadow or conduct informational interviews with other professionals that the research mentor could put the student in touch with. So more opportunity to learn even more about a field. And then, of course, we have demonstrating passion for academics. I know from my own experience with students who engage in research, they often are applying to highly selective schools. And one of the top things these types of schools are reading for in their applications are passion for academics. And then doing something extra beyond just what's required of them, an in-depth commitment to their learning beyond, hanging at the pool. No offense to that. That's a great summer activity. But these are students who are going above and beyond what's required of them. And then to show involvement in enrichment outside of school. So most students, understandably, do like the quote unquote easy thing. They tap into the resources that are available to them. But trying to set something up that is outside of what's easily available to you sends another message about character and quality of, academic or intellectual curiosity. It takes initiative and effort to secure research experiences. All right, Jamie, was this one mine? Because I'm sharing the screen.
Yes.
I think it is. Okay, so types of research opportunities, they tend to fall into 3 categories: volunteer and self-directed. These are ones where the student basically takes it upon themselves to reach out to potential mentors or contacts to set it up on their own. So it takes more effort, more engagement from the student to make those happen. Others would be what we call competitive ones that are often sponsored by sometimes a university, sometimes a research center, and they're free to participate, but competitive to be accepted to. So there's usually an application, interview potentially, maybe even more stuff to get the interview or to get the research spot. And as we say here, they can be sponsored by colleges and possibly pay a stipend. But I've also seen ones like Nationwide Children's has one, that students can get paid to research in the summer. So that's an example. And then the final one, which our panelists tonight will provide more insight into what these types of programs are, but not every student has access to opportunities near them, or maybe parents that can connect them to a research mentor, and maybe they don't have the resume, or just because they're competitive programs, they might not get into a competitive research opportunity. So that's where your fee-based ones can come in. And they also offer a oftentimes more structured approach. So there's a cost to participate, but on the flip side, there's structure, there's mentoring baked into the experience, and sometimes there's a publishing opportunity that's already a pathway that's been preformed for students.
All right. So to go into just a little bit more detail about each of those, the first is volunteer and self-directed research. So as Amber said, this is going to be very student driven. It'll take a lot of work on the student side to get this set up. And it will also involve having opportunities available. So it might depend on where you live or who you know. But these can be great opportunities. If you live near a college, you can talk with the local colleges and their professors, look up the faculty listings in any departments that you're interested in, email them, introduce yourself, summarize your interest, ask if they have opportunities, attach a resume. If you do this though, cast a wide net. You may need to send out 50, 75 emails and you might hear back from 3 people or 1 person. All it takes is 1 to get it going, but it can be a little bit difficult, to kind of make that happen. So cast a wide net, reach out to a lot of people, see what comes out of that. Another way you can do that is your connection. So think about who you know, your parents, your relatives, parents, friends, teachers, friends, parents, who is working in a field that is something you're interested in. Who do they know? Talk with them about what you're interested in, that you're looking for a research opportunity, and just kind of see what's out there. You might come across something that way. And then a third way is independent research. So this would be completely self-driven. This is you coming up with a research project and kind of running the whole thing yourself. Ideally, you're going to want to find a mentor who's willing to guide you. So this might not necessarily be a professional in the field. It could be, but it might just be a teacher at school that's willing to help you kind of be accountable and keep going with your project, but most of the actual work is going to be on you to run, and it's going to require a lot of organization and self-motivation. But those are some options if you have some of those opportunities near you. The second one is the no-cost sponsored research. Free to participate if it's sponsored at a location like a college. It often includes the room and board being free. Some give a stipend. they are highly, highly competitive for acceptance. So make sure you're aware of application requirements and deadlines. A lot of times they're earlier than other summer programs. Often they could be in, December, or they at least start the process in the fall for the upcoming summer. A lot of just regular college summer programs have later deadlines. So make sure you're looking into those early in the school year if you're interested in. A few examples: Stanford Institutes of Medicine Summer Research Program, MIT Research Science Institute, Clark Scholars Program through Texas Tech. Those are all completely free, very competitive, but if that's something you might be interested in, there are some links to those for you.
Something I was going to add about these ones, as I'm seeing them here on the slide, these are not short experiences. They often are immersive and all summer long, which, depending on the student, could be great. Or living away from home all summer on Stanford's campus might not be the way you want to spend the last summer before you head off to, or the summer before your senior year. So that's, I don't know, depending on the student, could be a pro or con of these types of experiences, but they're long and in-depth.
And then the last one that we'll go into some more detail on is the fee-based research. So there's two different, I would say, kind of umbrellas that this could fall under. There's summer research programs at colleges and organizations. These are separate from those very competitive free programs. Some just regular summer programs at colleges offer research components. There's a variety of locations, cost, selectivity, length. Some of them are a lot shorter than some of those big immersive programs. They might just be a week or two. A couple examples: University of Toledo has one that is virtual, that's in bioinformatics. Nationwide Children's Hospital has a Mechanisms of Health and Human Disease if you're in the Columbus area. So there are some, like I said, sponsored by local organizations, some by colleges. So if you're interested in that, just search specifically for high school summer research programs and subjects you're interested in. If you have colleges that are on your list and you're looking at summer programs, see if any of them offer research as part of their programs. That can be a great option. Another is the research companies. They will connect you with a mentor, typically a professor or a grad student, work with you on a research project. The details of that will vary company by company. Some offer publication opportunities, some offer college credit opportunities. So we've listed quite a few of them. We're going to hear from Polygence and Lumiere tonight, and then some other options: Collegiate Mentoring Program, Pioneer, Alpha Scholars, Veritas AI, and Ladder Internships. And they all have different subjects that they work with. Some are very STEM focused, some can do anything, some are more internship based rather than research. So think about specifically what you're interested in and what subjects you might want to pursue, and then you'll find the companies that offer the best fits for that.
I've also found in guiding students I've worked with that I don't want to say generally all of them offer this, but I feel like most of these companies offer like an information session that you can watch and learn about their programs. So if you get it narrowed down to maybe 2 or 3, you can kind of hone in and watch the info sessions that they post.
All right, so I'm going to give you a little intro to each of our panelists, and then I will transfer it over to them to speak more about their programs. So first we have Maureen from Polygence. Maureen has an MSW from NYU and a college counseling certificate from UCLA. She started working in the college admissions sphere 6 years ago as a client relations manager at a boutique college counseling company in New York. And as a parent whose own children have graduated from Harvard and Stanford, Maureen was able to put herself in the shoes of parents that she worked with on a daily basis. These are high stakes and families want to get them right. Maureen moved over to a partnership manager with Polygence, after realizing the importance of students looking to authentically show off their passions in their college applications and boost their admissions odds. So Maureen will be speaking in a minute about Polygence. And then from Lumiere, we have Saadia. Saadia is a PhD candidate at Princeton University, specializing in Francophone literature and psychoanalytic theory within the context of politics, sociology, and gender studies. Before graduate school, Saadia attended Mount Holyoke College, where she pursued a double major in economics and French studies and graduated summa cum laude. Her dedication to educational innovation propelled her into significant opportunities, including fellowship research residencies at organizations such as JSTOR and XPRIZE through Princeton University's Graduate School. In these roles, Saadia was deeply engaged in the research projects at the intersection of education, technology, and social impact. Currently, Saadia mentors high school students at Lumiere while preparing to defend her doctoral thesis this coming May, which she prepares to publish as a book. She is deeply committed to leveraging technology to bridge educational disparities for students worldwide and to engage learners of all ages and backgrounds in meaningful educational and research opportunities. All right, so I'm going to pass it over to Maureen to talk about Polygence.
Yeah.
Each of our presenters are going to talk about an overview and then to give some examples and outcomes and how students can get involved. Sorry, I forgot the little intro. Now I'm going to pass it to Maureen.
Yeah, hi. It's nice to meet you all. A little bit about what she said in my bio. Polygence really wants to help students tap into what they're authentically interested in. And those could be topics that are taught in schools, but like in school, you're always racing to get to the next unit, and maybe you don't get the opportunity to go as deep as you'd like. Or students can choose topics that aren't typically taught in high school curriculums, like maybe something like cybersecurity. And so we want the students to take the opportunity to choose what they want to study, to have that opportunity rather than taking just required classes, which is a lot of what they do in school. They're matched with mentors. Our mentors are generally PhD students, recent PhD graduates. We have over 2,200 mentors ready to go. So students are able to be very specific and choosing very niche topics, and we're able to match them with mentors to work with them on those niche topics. And then last, students get to pick a final deliverable project for their research project. And we're very flexible with a lot of the work that we do. And one of the things that we're flexible is about that final project. So the most popular final project is learning to write a college level research paper, but kids can pick other things with Polygence. We have kids that are creating apps and making websites. They're making podcasts and short films. They're writing books. They're writing songs, like you name it. And students are able to choose different outcomes, and our mentors are able to help them, achieve those goals. So that's one of the biggest things about Polygence. We were really flexible. Students are able to choose when they want to start. If a student came to us today, and as long as the student was moving through the process quickly, we could probably have them matched with a mentor and up and going and working on a project probably within like 2 weeks. So we're flexible about when they start. Since all of the meetings are one-on-one with their mentors. We're flexible about scheduling, and again, we're very flexible about the final project that they want to choose. We like they mentioned before, we do have other programming. So our core program is 10 sessions with a mentor. There are 2 additional writing sessions that go with the core program as well. And so that's our core program, but we do have some add-ons that we've developed based on feedback. So we do have a showcasing add-on that was mentioned in previous slides. So like if students want to get published, for instance, they can add on 3 sessions to our core 10 session program and focus on showcasing. If a student did another type of project, like let's say a student wants to submit to a science fair or submit to a business competition, they can also work with our showcasing specialist on that as well. We have other programs. We have programs that help students explore their careers, potential careers. We have programs that help students explore intended majors. We also have programs that help students meet with mentors and brainstorm what they want to do for their research project, because that's something we hear quite a bit, that students don't even know where to start, and we don't want there to be any roadblocks. Come to us and we will help students figure out what they want to research, what's the best fit for them, and what is also doable in a core 10 session program. Additionally, students can get 3 credits at the University of California, Irvine's Gifted and Talented program for working on their their core research projects. UCI has given a few guidelines, like they say it has to be a research paper, but if you want to get those college credits, we can make sure that your work falls within UCI's guidelines. Last, we have classes, short classes called pods, and we have different topics going on, rolling out all the time. And we created these pods based on feedback that we got from students that they wanted like a shorter commitment, like a lower commitment level to try things out. Like they think they like neuroscience. Well, like take a short class, figure out, do you like neuroscience? Do you like genetics? They're short 6-week classes. They're a little bit social because there are other kids that are in their classes, in the classes as well. And there's also a project involved in that. So it is still project-based learning. So that's kind of Polygens, and again, what the best thing is that kids are able to learn about what truly interests them authentically, while at the same time, these Polygens projects are giving a boost and they're getting help in their admissions edge when they're applying to school. Like what was previously said, they really help with, especially when you're working on the supplement essays. So did I see a question come in? Okay, hold on 1 second. I gotta put on glasses for
Yes,
this.
there is a question. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Does Polygens help identify opportunities for the students, or do students have to come up with a list of those they'd like to submit to? And this is in relationship to competitions like a science fair, a business competition, for example.
It's a great question, Christina. A little bit of both. So students can, we definitely have students that come in, they know exactly what they want to do, and we're able to help them like run with it. We have a few different ways when students come in and they think they have an idea of what they want to do. And so if they think they have an idea of what they want to do, we actually have a Poly GPT program on our application. So students can come in, like for instance, if they want cancer research, and they can kind of plug in some keywords, and the Poly GPT helps them kind of bring the idea together. Additionally, we have a program called Launchpad, and Launchpad is when students really need some assistance with brainstorming their project idea. So it's an add-on, and it happens before the core program. So they meet with 3 different mentors, and they kind of brainstorm and kick ideas around about what they could do for their project. We guarantee that they're going to leave each one of those 3 sessions with a minimum of 2 project ideas. So if they do the whole Launchpad 3 sessions, they're going to walk out with 6 ideas for projects in 3 different topics. And then they can take time to think about those 6 ideas. They can run the ideas by their parents. They can run their ideas by their college counselors as well. So that's Launchpad. We don't want students hesitation about a project idea to be any type of roadblock. So if you come to us, we can help you work through and kind of finalize like what's the best fit for you for a project idea. Yeah. Oh, here we are. Yeah, so here's our pricing. Yep. So the core program is $2,795. It's 10 sessions with, and then with 2 additional sessions with a writing fellow. If you want to do core in our premium showcasing, and that's like if you want to get published or something like that, the cost is $2,695. And Launchpad, that's the program where you work beforehand and you think through about brainstorming your project idea. The cost for that is $3,345. Okay, anyone have any other questions?
Looks like we've got one.
We might have one more. It looks like one more came up.
Yeah. You mentioned running ideas by parents. Can you share what role parents play in a student's work with Polygens? Do they attend any meetings with the mentor? Is it 100% solo with the student?
Yeah, so parents are, so we have an admissions interview. So the students fill out an application, and then after that, they have an admissions interview. We definitely invite parents to come to the admissions interview. The purpose of that meeting is, one, to explain Polygence and all of our different programming to the family, to answer any questions that the parents or the student have, and often parents have more questions than the students do. And then third, they will also again continue to brainstorm the project idea. Once the student enrolls and is working with a mentor, it is a one-on-one program for students and mentors. And, we invite the parents to come to like the first session for 5 or 10 minutes, meet the mentor, kind of say hi, ask any quick questions. And then from there, it is a one-on-one program with the student and the mentor. Every session is recorded and is put into the student account, and the student has the ability to share those recordings with their parents. We also invite parents to create an account on the Polygence platform so that you can be involved and be following along as well.
So thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Yeah.
We're gonna-
I just like another couple quick things that I want to say. We mentioned in my bio, I'm a mom of 2 daughters. One of the things that as a mom that is very important to me about Polygence is safety. So all of the communication between the student and the mentors is on our Polygence platform. Every student has an account, every mentor has an account. Like I mentioned, parents can create accounts. Our college counselors have accounts. The students and the mentors communicate in a chat room on our platform. And our student success team can go in at any time and review all of the communication. And that's very important to me, like I said, as a parent. And oftentimes there could just be like a misunderstanding. Like a student might say to a parent, like, "Oh, my mentor said this," and the parents may come back to us. We're able to go through and like read exactly what was said and say, "Oh, this is what we understand. This is where the misunderstanding happened. This is what was said," and we can then give the exact information to the parents about what was said. So as a parent, that's one thing that's extremely important to me: safety. We have a student team that can go through and see everything. We can also watch all of those videos for the recordings and know exactly what's happening between the students and the mentors. And the last thing, it's just a little bit of fun. Here at Polygence, we really like to think that we're helping students connect the dots and not just checking the boxes as they're moving through high school. It's about telling a story and connecting the dots.
Yes. Yes. So we always tell students that if you're doing things you're passionate about, then a happy byproduct
Yeah,
is that it looks good on an application, but you're not doing things because it looks good on an application.
exactly. Yeah.
Thanks, Maureen. We're
Thank
gonna hand it over to Saadia for Lumiere.
Thank you so much, Amber, Jamie, and Maureen. One thing I want to say before I begin talking about Lumiere is how valuable this presentation has been. And I really appreciate how Jamie and Amber sort of highlighted a variety of opportunities that are out there for students. Of course, our programs, Lumiere, Polygence, and many others are great, but there are so many opportunities out there. And I know students at this age might feel overwhelmed because there are so many things to choose from, but eventually you will find the right program for you that speaks to you and speaks to your needs. So thank you guys for providing that very comprehensive introduction to our presentation. So as you guys know, my name is Saadia. I am currently a PhD candidate at Princeton University. Right before this call, I was actually editing my dissertation, which I'm hoping to submit before March 1st, which is this Friday. So wish me luck as I wrap up this part of my journey, but also something that has really brought a lot of joy to me in the past 2 years has been working with high school students and sharing my expertise and my knowledge and my research with them in a variety of opportunities such as Lumiere. So I come here today speaking to you from my perspective as a mentor and the work that I've been doing with high school students. So hopefully those students out, today here in this call, or the ones who will watch this as a recording, if you feel like something I said spoke to you, then I definitely recommend reaching out and asking more questions, either to me, Maureen, or others, and just really advocate for yourself and ask questions. That's something I always encourage my students to do. Now let's talk a little bit about Lumiere. We are a research organization, and we have been founded for the purpose of bridging the gap of research opportunities that are available for high school students. As everyone on this call has highlighted earlier, for high school students, it can be really hard figuring out which is the right opportunity for you. And sometimes these opportunities are exclusive to college students, PhD students, and sometimes folks who have connections. So these opportunities, like Lumiere and others, can really bridge that gap. And students, all they have to worry about is actually getting to work and getting to their project, rather than worrying about all these outside factors. So our goal is to really match students with the perfect mentor out there for them, depending on their research interests, as well as their personality, but also the outcome that they are seeking to get out of this experience. A lot of our students come to us because they're looking to engage with research and learn what research really entails. But so many others come to us because they want to get some answers about whether or not a subject they've expressed interest in is really the thing for them that they should continue pursuing in the future. But also many other students come to us because they want to stand out in the admission process when they're looking at colleges and universities. And from my perspective, from the work that I've done with students, working on a research project really shows drive and commitment. But more importantly, we teach students at Lumiere how to engage with research, what research methodologies are in whatever given field the student is interested in. And then we help them get to that research paper, which is usually the outcome that is most valued in a research experience, because writing a paper and learning how to communicate one's learnings and one's findings is what is deemed as the ultimate outcome in research experiences later on in other opportunities the students might get, whether it be in grad school or other research programs. One other super valuable part of our program is that students get to interact with PhDs and postdocs, sometimes even professors, and that really mimics the experience that students will get once they step into a college campus. So having the time and opportunity to do that early on in high school really shows emotional and intellectual maturity, and students can really train for how to be once they step into a college classroom. Last but not least, all of our students, regardless of whatever program they engage with, they receive 3 credits through UC San Diego that they can use in any variety of ways they deem necessary for them. But as Maureen has expressed for their program, we also have to make sure that students meet the requirement of that research paper at the end. However, a lot of our students also do end up adding other creative aspects to their research papers, which could entail podcasts, blogs, or other creative ways of showcasing their work. And in terms of available areas for research, this is a question I get all the time from parents and students in terms of what we can support students in. Really, what I usually say is everything, and I'm not lying about that. We have mentors who can really support students in any variety of ways in pretty much every single field. But one specific way that I find super valuable and super interesting for students who are still in high school is the interdisciplinary research aspect of our program. So if there are any students out there who are interested in computer science and history, and they want to bridge those 2 interests, we have mentors who are able to do that with you. And also from my perspective as a researcher myself, interdisciplinary research is the way to go and is the way that academia is going. We really want to encourage students to also embrace that aspect of engaging with their interests. And now in terms of our mentors, We have mentors in the US as well as the UK, namely Cambridge and Oxford, but the majority of our mentors who are located in the US are in top 30 universities and research universities. One thing that we really look for in our mentors are not only research, experience and drive, but we also want to make sure that they are teachers at heart and they are looking to share their knowledge with students and meet them where they're at. I can only imagine high school students sometimes looking at these profiles can feel intimidated and say, oh my God, what am I going to say to someone who's a PhD at Harvard doing some crazy research? And do not worry, our mentors are students too. They have been through the experience, but most importantly, they're teachers and they want to work with students and meet them where they're at and slowly grow with them to get them to their ultimate outcome that they want to get to. But I just wanted to highlight a few different types of mentors that we have from various universities. And because of the expertise that they have and the level of education that they've achieved, they're able to support students in any variety of ways in whatever umbrella field that the student is interested in. So let's say you wanted to work with someone like Caitlin, and you're interested in biology, we would usually match students with her who are interested in any variety of things like cancer genetics, CRISPR gene editing, molecular biology, sometimes even medicine. So, just want to give you a sense of the variety of ways that these mentors are able to support our students. And I have one more slide. No, I can go to the other one. Thank you. So for the programs that we offer, I just want to highlight that we have 3 programs, and each one of them is designed and curated to a specific outcome for the students, depending on what they want to achieve alongside our mentors. So the basic program, the individual research program, is for students who want to do a deep dive in a research area of their interest, and they want to get those 3 credits and eventually have that research paper done at the end. Of course, they're more than welcome to add some creative aspects to their research project if they want to, and our mentors and writing coaches are super happy to assist with that. And for that program, it's $2,800 and it's 12 weeks back to back. So that's one distinguishing aspect of our program, is that students, when they begin, they have to keep going with the program for 12 weeks. Of course, we understand that sometimes, students get sick or there are travels happening or family things, so we're able to adapt to that. But from my perspective as a researcher myself, engaging with research continuously is super important, because when you put that question or that writing in the back burner, it can really get hard to get back to it after 4 weeks, a month or 2. So continuously engaging with that research is super important. And that's something we want to instill in our students. Now, in terms of the second program, the Premium Research and Publication Program, that's a similar program to the individual research program, except the students who finish the 3 months or 12 weeks of work with their mentor, they want to take that paper to the next level and get it published at a high school or college level journal. And for that, we have publication specialists in-house who have been working with students who are very familiar with a variety of journals out there and can help the student make sure that paper is up to standards with whatever publication might be looking for. And as a researcher, I've seen a lot of rejection sometimes when you submit a paper, and that's part of research. And we have our folks who are working with us supporting students who may face rejection, or they may face edits in terms of like publications asking students to continue working on the paper for a bit longer, which is a totally normal phase or progression of how sort of publishing works for high school and college level. One thing I do have to mention is that we don't guarantee that a student will get published, because that's a third-party stamp of approval that we have no control over. However, it really is a great way for students to get extra eyes looking at their work, and an extra form of validation that they can take with them in the future to college and to other opportunities, and open more doors for them. Now, the last program that I will highlight is the Lumiere Research Fellowship. This program is a bit peculiar in regards to the other two programs and how it compares. And this one was mainly designed to offer students support in case they're looking to go out and compete in regional fairs and national competitions or other competitions like Regeneron, ISEF, or MIT Thing. We have a team, internal team, who works with students after they finish their research program to get the paper that they've completed to the standards of these national or regional competitions. And for that, the student needs extra support, extra attention, and extra time. And usually this program is more appropriate for 10th and 11th graders who have a little bit more time to dedicate to this type of work. But usually this is the program that our students looking to compete will go towards. So as you can see from these three programs, all students will still receive those 3 credits from UC San Diego, and they will all complete a paper, but depending on what they want to achieve in terms of that extra step, that will be sort of the defining factor of which program they should go ahead and apply to. And I think I have one last slide or a couple. I just wanted to highlight a few of our students who have accomplished amazing things, but also all the students watching this tonight, do not feel intimidated at all. These students had to go through weeks and weeks of work and a lot of research before they got here. And trust me, when they started, they were also super nervous, but then they did it. So I just wanted to highlight for you some of the very important ways that our program has helped our students either compete or get published, or even opened up more doors and more opportunities for them, such as internships and other opportunities within universities and whatnot. And I'll move to the last slide just to conclude everything. In terms of the students we're looking for, we usually say that we're looking for students who are academically strong, mainly because we don't want them to be struggling in school and adding this on on their sort of list of things they're doing. It's usually not the right thing to do. They should focus on getting their grades up, then come back and do our program. So that's why we say academically strong. And we also want students who are good communicators. So students who advocate for themselves, who can drive the project forward. This is a mutually beneficial opportunity for mentors and mentees to work together. But the purpose of this program is to elevate the students' research experience. So we want them to advocate for themselves and to be good communicators and really drive the experience forward and be curious and proactive. And all of this to say is that we are looking for students who want this for themselves. So not because it is, something someone told you is a good idea, or, you saw your friend do it, that you think it's gonna be the right thing to do, but rather because this is something you want to do for yourself and you will drive the experience forward. Yeah, I think I kind of touched on all of this, but I just want to say that, there is much more I can tell you about Lumiere and about what our students are doing and about our program. So I think the folks at Estrela will share with you my email, and I'll be happy to meet and talk to any of the parents or students who are with us tonight, so that I can answer your questions on a more individualized basis. But I just wish you all the best of luck on your journey towards college, and hopefully I'll get to work with some of you.
All right, thank you. If anybody has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. There's a couple there, so I'll go ahead and get those started. And then feel free to add more questions in. While we're taking questions, I also wanted to put this last slide up. We have our contact information. So if you want to contact any of us, our information is there for you. And then also our Estrela newsletter. So if you're not getting our Estrela newsletter, you can scan the QR code and sign up for it. It is free. It comes out once a month. We have tips and blog posts from experts and information on future webinars all there as well. So we'll leave that up on the screen while we run the questions. The first for Saadia, do you ever have, with the interdisciplinary nature of the Lumiere program, do you ever have students who are interested in Lumiere and research but don't know what topic areas that might be the best for them? And if so, how do you help them choose? And what does exploration of a topic look like?
Yeah, absolutely. We have several steps in the onboarding for students. So for instance, we try to gather as much information in the application process as well as the interview so that we can do the best job in terms of matching them with the best mentor for them. And a lot of our mentors are working at those interdisciplinary intersections. So the more information we can find out from those steps in the onboarding, the more of a better job we can do getting the students to the best mentor for them. Now, in terms of students who come to us, some of them are very specific in terms of what they want to do, and we'll help them get to that mentor eventually and get them those questions answered. But we also have a lot of students who come to us and say, we're pretty open. We are just interested in biology from a general perspective. And we've done perhaps a project in our AP class about this, and maybe I want to explore it further. So in that case, we will match them with somebody who is a little bit of a generalist who is able to support students in a little bit of a variety of ways. But yeah, students do not need to have a very specific project idea in mind, but also I personally find it super fun to help students find research questions and projects ideas, in which case I'm always happy to meet with them before they even apply to talk about different ways that they could engage with research and dig a little bit deeper so that they feel confident going into the application process.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Another one for you, Saadia. Does Lumiere allow for outcomes and projects other than papers, and how common are they?
Yeah, absolutely. We do allow for that, and we do have support for that sort of within the curriculum of any of the three programs. And we encourage students to do that, to get creative and create other ways of communicating their findings and their learnings. However, we just tend to emphasize the paper aspect of the program because we value that as researchers ourselves, and we do know how important it is, but we're always super happy to support students in any variety of ways. A lot of our students who actually end up going and competing do end up creating other projects to showcase their work, and it is pretty common that students will do that. Also, we've had students design projects on which, the fact that they were not papers is what led them to actually write the paper. So for instance, apps have been computer science students creating apps. They had to create the app in order for them to speak about it in, the research paper. And similarly, students have designed their own research methodology questionnaires and, went out and interviewed folks through getting IRB approval for their psychology research. So we encourage students to really bring every interest they have and every passion they have into the program, and we will do our entire best to support them in that. So in terms of percentages, I would say half of our students end up producing other types of outcomes in addition to the paper.
Perfect, thank you. And then one for both of you. Can you both address accountability? How do mentors keep students on track?
Yeah, happy to start, and then I'll pass it to Maureen, just because I've been speaking. And I'll pass it to you. Might as well just do it all at once. In terms of accountability, every student who works with us has a program manager. So that's sort of like an additional person. Think of it as a counselor kind of, or a point of contact who oversees the student's progress. So when mentors and mentees meet, there is a platform that we have where they enter post-meeting notes, as well as, if there are any sort of red flags that our team needs to be aware of and act on, we get all of that information there. So that program manager is sort of the liaison between the mentor, the parents, as well as the internal team at Lumiere, and they oversee the student's progress and make sure that the student is progressing. And our mentors, when they sign up to work with a student, they sign a contract for the longevity of that period, so that, or that program, so that they're available for the student throughout that period and are able to assist them both in the Zoom meeting when they're interacting, but also asynchronously. And we have a 24-hour time frame that mentors have to reply and get back to their students as a rule of thumb.
Yeah, so, similarly, first of all, thank you, Saadia. Similarly, we have milestones along the way. So within the 10 session core program, there are certain milestones that the mentor knows that they have to reach at certain points along the way of the 10 sessions. So again, as much as we want to be flexible, if a student wants to, go off and, discuss an exciting tangent in their project, the mentor wants us to support that, help the student move towards whatever they want to do. But the mentor knows when they've got to pull it back because there's a certain deadline when the outline of the paper of the project has to be done, when the first draft has to be done, when the second draft has to be done, when the abstract has to be done. And the mentor knows that, so they know that when they're supposed to be hitting everything else. Additionally, we have a whole student success team that is also following along with every student. So like we have automated systems in place. So for instance, if there's no communication for a certain amount of days between the mentor and the student success team kind of gets notified. So they're following along, and they also are, reaching out to students at times to say, hey, what's going on? Do you need some support? So there's a whole student success team. But also, again, we're an ed tech company, so we've got a lot of things going on. We are affiliated with Stanford Graduate School of Education, and we have some AI systems in place that is in conjunction with Stanford. And so, like, for instance, when the students and the mentors meet after every session, the mentor gets a report of who was talking what percentage of the time in the session. So early in the project, when the mentors are like teaching the students about the topics, it's expected that the mentor should be talking more than the student. But pretty quickly, as they're moving through the core program, we want that to switch. We want it because this is, no matter what, the student's project, and we want the student to take ownership. And so the mentor will get notified, like, you spoke X% of the time, the student spoke this much. And as they move through the project, the mentor is going to be encouraging the student to speak more and to take ownership and to be talking more and to own the project. And so, like, there's accountability in many ways with us, and that's just another example how the mentors are, kind of helping support the student to take accountability for their own project.
Perfect.
Yeah.
There was
Thank you.
a question
I
that
think, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say there was a question that Maureen addressed by typing in the Q&A. So, and I think it's worth just directing your attention there if you haven't skipped it out. The question is kind of similar to the credit that students can earn that was talked about with Lumiere, the college credit through UC Irvine's Gifted and Talented Institute. And Maureen she answered that they'll receive a transcript from UCI, and just like the one with
Yeah, they can once they choose what college they're going to enroll in, and they enroll in the college, they can submit the transcript to that college for those credits. And it's as if they took a class on, any campus, whether you were transferring or you took a class at a community college or something like that.
Yeah, similarly for Lumiere's UCSD credits, usually the students will be able to transfer them, but it really depends on the school and the registrar's decision about whether or not those credits will transfer. But for the majority of the students that we've seen go from our program to college, they were able to transfer them towards general credits that go towards graduation rather than major credits. Like if a student starts a major, like if they did it in biology and they want to major in biology, that doesn't necessarily mean that they will go towards that. So just to clarify that it's more towards the general requirements.
That is our most common answer and our favorite answer in this process. It depends.
It depends.
College, always. So Jamie, I'll flip it back over to you for closing remarks.
All right. Well, I think that's it. I don't see any other questions in there. So thank you everyone for joining us or watching this recording if you're watching later. Like I said, here's our contact information. If you have any specific questions you want to reach out later, and our newsletter. And I think that's it. Anything else, Amber?
I have one last thing. Everybody send good vibes to Saadia because she's going to be needing them to get through to Friday. Like I've never,
Yes.
Thank you
never
so
done a
much.
PhD dissertation, but I had to do a big old thing. Jamie and I both had to do it for grads for our master's degrees, and I thought that was going to put me in an early grave. So
I
Good
can't
luck,
wait to be on
Saadia.
the other side. I can't wait to be on the
Yeah.
side of completion.
so come
Yes.
Saturday, I hope you get some good sleeping in.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. And thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, Jamie and Amber, thank you very much for letting me speak and talk to you about Polygence. Again, like Saadia had said, I'm happy to talk to anyone if you want to reach out to me by email. And again, Saadia, good luck this week. Very exciting. You've worked hard and you deserve, recognition for all your hard work.
Thank you so much, Maureen. It's good to see you. Thank you.
See
Bye,
you.
Thank you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.